welcome to today's deep dive. I want to start off by asking you a question, and I want you to be completely honest with yourself for a second.
Always a good way to start.
Right. Okay, so
Yeah.
have you ever stared at your inbox at like 10 p.m.?
Yeah.
You know, the harsh glow of your laptop is illuminating your face, and you're just watching the unread count tick up.
Oh, I've definitely been there.
And you just wish you could, clone yourself. Well, the guy in our source material today basically did exactly that.
He really did. It's a pretty wild story.
Today, we are looking at the dissolution of the technical barrier in the workplace. Specifically, how a non-technical employee built his own complex software to completely rewrite his daily workflow.
Yeah, and we're pulling this from a deeply fascinating case study. It's a blog post from Anthropic titled How One Anthropic Seller Rebuilt His Team's Workflows with Claude Code.
And what makes this mission so crucial is the core hook of this whole story. Like, what happens when a sales guy with absolutely zero coding experience suddenly writes 4,300 lines of code?
Right, and automates his massive workload
Yeah.
and fundamentally changes his entire career trajectory in the process.
Exactly.
The stakes here, for anyone listening, are just incredibly high. I mean, this isn't just an interesting anecdote about a cool new app that someone downloaded.
No, not at all.
It is fundamentally about the future of how you might interact with the daily pain points and friction in your own work. We are going to extract the blueprint of how this account executive accomplished this feat.
And not just the technical steps, right?
Exactly. Not just the tech, but the psychological shift in how he viewed his problems. So you can apply that same mindset to whatever bottleneck is slowing you down today.
Because this starts in a place a lot of you can probably relate to, which is absolute burnout. Let's look at the context of Jared Sayers.
Yeah, let's talk about Jared.
He joined Anthropic as an account executive in 2024. And when I say he was drowning, I mean he was in the deep end with weights tied to his ankles.
So he had a massive workload.
Unbelievable workload. He was managing a book of like 600 to 700 accounts. He was doing 10 to 15 customer calls every single day.
Wow.
And he's trying to do outbound sales on top of that. Plus, he's stuck at his desk answering customer emails until 9 or 10 p.m. every night. Just an impossible volume of work.
We have to understand why those emails were so incredibly demanding, too. I mean, it wasn't merely the sheer volume of 700 accounts.
Though managing that many relationships is a massive task in itself.
Oh, absolutely. But the real issue was the cognitive load required to answer those clients accurately. Anthropic is a fast-growing AI company, right?
Right.
And they are shipping product changes every 24 to 48 hours. Jared was dealing with highly technical updates.
Like what kind of updates?
We are talking about changes to batch API SLAs,
Hmm.
which are basically the service agreements for bulk processing data.
Oh,
He had to keep track of prompt caching discounts, where developers save money on repeated AI inputs. He had to know the new model pricing and memorize subtle changes in SDK behavior.
which is the toolkit developers use to integrate the models into their own software, right?
Exactly. So Jared was essentially forced to constantly act as a human search engine. He's scouring Slack channels, Google Docs, internal knowledge bases.
Just to keep his head above water.
Yeah, and reading live developer documentation just to answer a basic customer question without giving them outdated specs.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because that sounds like an absolute nightmare.
It really does.
It's like trying to be a tour guide in a city where the streets are completely rearranged every 24 hours. You memorize the map on Monday, and by Wednesday, the Natural History Museum is on a totally different block.
That is a perfect way to put it.
But here's my pushback on this entire setup. If he's a sales guy, and the company is changing things that rapidly, why didn't he just ask his management for a better CRM tool? Or, a more robust internal search engine?
It's a fair question.
Right. Why on earth is an account executive taking it upon himself to try and build custom software?
Well, submitting an IT ticket and waiting for a top-down solution is the traditional response. But static CRM tools are fundamentally ill-equipped to handle dynamic, unstructured knowledge retrieval.
Because they just store history, mostly.
Exactly. A CRM holds historical data, who you called, when you called them. It doesn't read a developer documentation page that was published 20 minutes ago and synthesize it.
Right.
It can't generate a coherent, highly technical answer for a specific client. The legacy tools just couldn't solve his specific real-time problem.
So what did you do?
So Jared took his first toe dip into automation. He used Google's AppScript, which is a very lightweight platform, alongside Claude,
Okay.
and he built a simple daily ranking tool.
Hmm.
It pulled product usage data from internal systems and ranked his 700 accounts every morning based on their growth velocity.
Which basically gave him a daily brief. Instead of staring at a massive list of accounts in a panic, he knew exactly who to focus his outbound energy on.
Exactly, it gave him focus.
And getting that automated brief gave him the psychological safety, the confidence to tackle his true nemesis, that 10 p.m. inbox.
Yes.
And this brings us to the core of the software he actually built. Now, the source material explicitly notes that Jared had zero coding experience.
None at all.
He had never opened a terminal in his life. He actually admits he was highly intimidated to use a tool called Claude Code simply because it had the word code in the name.
And that psychological barrier holds so many people back. We have been culturally conditioned to believe that code is this mystical, impenetrable language.
Like it's reserved exclusively for people with 4-year computer science degrees.
Exactly. But Jared had to push past that initial intimidation, and when he did, he realized that the power of this tool wasn't about him learning to type syntax perfectly.
So how does it actually work for him?
Well, Claude Code operates as an agent directly inside your computer's terminal. You don't just chat with it and copy-paste text.
Wait, so what else does it do?
It can read your local file system, run commands, test the software it writes, and fix its own errors.
Wow. Yeah, that localized agentic capability birthed his primary solution. It's an application he named CLAFTS, which is short for Claude Drafts.
I love that name. And we aren't talking about a simple keyboard macro here, right?
Not at all.
CLAFTS is a 4,300-line application that lives inside his Gmail. Over 4,000 lines of code, virtually all of it written by Claude.
It's massive.
It pulls context from a shared Google Drive folder, it hooks into third-party tools, and crucially, it actively searches the web for Anthropic's latest public documentation.
Which ensures that technical specs are perfectly accurate before it drafts a reply.
Okay, wait, I'm actually stuck on the mechanics here. If an AI is drafting emails, how does a tool living inside Gmail know what the engineering team published on their website 20 minutes ago?
It acts as an interceptor.
An interceptor.
Yeah, when a customer emails Jared about a new SDK behavior that changed that very morning, CLAFTS intercepts the incoming message.
It uses its built-in web search capability to pull the live public documentation that Anthropic just updated. It reads that documentation, synthesizes the highly technical answers specific to the customer's question.
And then what? It just sends it.
No, then it places a fully formulated draft directly into Jared's folder. The mechanism here is real-time retrieval. Jared no longer has to maintain a constantly shifting encyclopedia of technical specs in his own brain.
That is wild. He just opens his drafts folder at the end of the day, reviews the meticulously accurate responses, and hits send.
Exactly.
But here's where it gets really interesting, and honestly, where I have to raise a massive eyebrow at Jared's approach.
Uh-oh.
Letting an AI write your emails sounds like a fantastic recipe for sounding like a highly caffeinated corporate robot.
Yes, that is a huge risk.
Did he just start spamming his 700 enterprise clients with generic hedged AI jargon? I mean, as a client, you can almost always tell when an email was written by a machine.
You definitely can.
It always starts with something stiff like, "Let us delve into this matter," or "I hope this correspondence finds you well," and the entire relationship just feels incredibly hollow.
Jared recognized that exact trap immediately. Early automation often destroys authenticity. Out of the box, Claude's default writing style was just too lengthy.
And probably heavy on those hedging phrases.
Oh, very heavy on heading phrases. When you are an account executive trying to build trust with enterprise clients, you cannot sound like a walking legal disclaimer.
Right.
So Jared spent hundreds of iterations refining the system prompt. He engaged in a sustained dialogue with the model.
Giving it examples.
Yeah, feeding it examples of his own writing to teach it his specific voice. Then he went much further. He developed a dynamic feature he called Clinny Laugh Text Tones.
Because you obviously don't talk to a prospective CEO the same way you talk to your coworker on Slack. Or, the same way you talk to your spouse.
Exactly. Laugh Text Tones uses contextual pattern matching. It analyzes the history of the relationship and the specific thread it is reading.
And then it shifts its style.
Yes. It dynamically adjusts the draft's tone to match whether Jared is speaking to a customer, a peer, or a family member. It evaluates the level of formality required.
That's incredibly smart. Ensuring the sheer efficiency of AI doesn't erase the authenticity of human connection.
Spot on.
The way he tested this is hands down my favorite detail in the entire case study.
It's so good.
He needed to know if the pattern matching was actually working under pressure. So he goes into his personal email account on his phone, and he starts writing himself increasingly angry, aggressive emails.
Just yelling at himself.
Yeah, sending them to his work address to see how CLAFTS would handle a furious client.
The model's behavioral response to that test is incredible. Claude picked up the angry tone perfectly and matched it.
It did.
Well, it maintained a professional but firm stance in the initial drafts. But as Jared escalated the aggression and the anger in his test emails, Claude eventually hit a wall. It started refusing to generate the drafts entirely. The system pushed back, essentially stating that it would not generate an angry, unprofessional email to a customer.
Regardless of how the customer was speaking.
Right. And that refusal was exactly what Jared needed to see. It proved the system was understanding the tone and the ethical boundaries of professional communication, not just blindly matching text.
He hit the AI's customer service guardrails by yelling at himself. That is just brilliant testing for a non-coder.
It really is.
So at this point, CLAFTS is saving Jared 10 to 15 hours every single week. It is ensuring clients get the most up-to-date specs without him doing the manual labor of scouring Slack.
Massive time savings.
Think about your own workflow right now. How many times a day are you copying and pasting data between 3 different browser tabs just to answer one simple email?
Too many times.
That's the exact friction Jared decided to stop ignoring. But, an incredible tool sitting on one guy's laptop is just a cool personal productivity hack.
It doesn't change a company's bottom line.
Exactly. The real impact happened when this thing escaped his desk and moved into the wild.
The evolution from a personal invention to an organizational transformation scaled entirely organically.
How did it spread?
Jared shared his creation in a company Slack channel, and another employee, a business development rep named John Albert, saw it.
Was John having the same issues?
Oh, John was facing the exact same burnout. He was regularly working past midnight just to keep up with the volume of customer inquiries.
Man, that's brutal.
So John reached out, and together they co-built and refined CLAFTS for broader use. Once the rest of the sales team saw a colleague actually getting hours of their life back every single day, the adoption was explosive.
My bad.
They didn't rely on a corporate training mandate. The team evangelized the tool themselves because the value was immediate and undeniable.
It's like hiring an executive assistant who doesn't just hand you a hammer to do your job faster,
Yeah.
but actually takes the initiative to prepare your briefing folder before a meeting, and then sits in on the call, takes the notes, and drafts all the follow-up letters before you even get back to your desk.
Mm.
And he didn't stop at just managing the inbox.
No, and what's fascinating here is how Jared evolved his thinking from building a simple tool to building an agentic workflow.
What's the difference?
A tool requires you to actively swing it. An agent operates on your behalf with a high degree of autonomy. He built a daily brief skill into the system.
Okay, how does that work?
Every morning, this skill reads his calendar, identifies exactly who he is meeting with, runs a web search on the attendees, and connects to their CRM data via MCP servers.
MCP servers.
MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. It is a secure pathway that allows the AI to query internal databases without the AI actually holding or exposing the proprietary data.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So using all that, the agent produces customized, deeply researched talking points before his first call even starts.
And then it bookends the day, right? Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, he built a daily recap skill.
Yes, exactly.
This skill pulls from his meeting notes and Google Docs to automatically draft the follow-up emails for every single meeting he had.
It's incredible.
It reads his calendar, preps him in the morning, and then handles the administrative wrap-up in the evening. Hooked together, the AI is effectively managing his task transitions.
Just imagine never having to write a routine follow-up email from scratch ever again.
Unbelievable.
And because they wanted everyone to have access to this ecosystem, Jared packaged these skills into a plugin inside an internal platform called Claude Cowork.
The scale of adoption is wild. Within months, 80% of the entire Anthropic sales organization was using this plugin daily.
Think about the onboarding implications for a fast-growing company. Before this plugin existed, every new hire would spend weeks, sometimes months, figuring out their own idiosyncratic workflow.
Just trying to bridge the massive gaps between Salesforce, their email, and their calendar.
Exactly. Now, a new hire representing the 20% of the team not initially using the tool can install Jared's plugin on day one.
And boom, they're ready.
Instantly. They have more than 20 distinct automated skills wired directly into Salesforce, Intercom, Gong, Google Calendar, Drive, and BigQuery.
It's basically downloading immense competence on your very first day on the job. The case study highlighted two specific skills that really anchor this entire system.
Yeah, the core commands.
First, there's a command called customer context. You type that into the interface, and in about 90 seconds, it pulls a complete 360-degree view of the account across all those platforms we just mentioned.
Imagine trying to do that manually.
Right. Logging into 5 different tabs, cross-referencing Zendesk support tickets with Salesforce billing data, you're looking at 90 seconds versus maybe 30 minutes of manual digging per client.
It's a game changer.
The second major command is pipeline management, which surfaces at-risk deals and provides forecasting guidance based on recent interactions.
Those two commands alone represent a massive reduction in daily operational friction. Changing the workflow of 80% of a sales team didn't just alter how Anthropic operated as a business.
It fundamentally rewrote the definition of Jared's own career, which is the craziest part of this whole story.
It really is.
Jared is no longer an account executive. He's not managing 700 accounts anymore. His new official title is Go-to-Market Product Manager and Architect.
Let that sink in.
A guy who had never opened a computer terminal a year ago is now sitting in design conversations with product engineers.
Yeah.
His sole professional focus is finding operational problems within the sales organization and building custom Claude-powered solutions to fix them. So what does this all mean?
That's the big question.
Does this mean the technical barrier to software design is totally gone? Can you or I or anyone listening just wake up tomorrow and be a software engineer?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the technical barrier isn't entirely gone, but it is rapidly dissolving. It has become incredibly porous.
Oh, so.
Historically, you had domain experts like Jared who deeply understood the painful nuances of sales, and they were trying to translate those problems to software engineers.
Who understood code, but didn't intuitively grasp the daily friction of a sales call?
Exactly. A massive amount of nuance gets lost in that translation. Now, the domain expert is the architect. They can design the product, automate the workflow, and build the prototype themselves.
So what do the actual engineers do?
The senior engineers are still vital, but they are now stepping in to help implement the final stretch, ensuring security protocols, stability, and enterprise scale.
That makes sense.
Jared himself calls this shift from consumer to creator the most empowering thing he has ever experienced in his professional life.
And Jared gives a very direct piece of advice for you listening right now. If you're wondering if you can actually do this, he says, don't try to boil the ocean.
Start small.
Open an AI coding tool. Find exactly one task that is slowing you down today, just one tiny piece of friction, and literally just ask the AI how to build a solution for it.
You don't need to know the code. You just need to intimately know the problem you are trying to solve.
The friction in your daily tasks is no longer a permanent reality that you just have to endure or develop a manual workaround for.
No, it is an open invitation to build a bespoke solution. The power dynamic of technology in the workplace has definitively shifted from merely consuming software to generating it on demand.
We started this deep dive looking at a guy staring at 700 accounts and a 10 p.m. inbox, drowning in administrative dread.
Yeah, a dark place to be.
And we ended with a go-to-market architect designing team-wide enterprise plugins. He didn't wait for someone else to save him. He built his own lifeboat, and then he figured out how to build a fleet for his entire team.
This raises an important question. If AI lowers the floor for building complex software all the way down to zero, does it simultaneously raise the ceiling of expectations for every single employee?
That is a fascinating thought.
In 5 years, will "I don't know how to code" be an acceptable excuse for maintaining a slow, inefficient workflow? Or are we moving toward a reality where building your own automations and custom tools is considered as basic and mandatory an expectation as knowing how to use Microsoft Excel is today?
That is a massive paradigm shift to think about for your own career. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today.
It's been great.
We really encourage you to take Jared's advice. Find that one annoying task today, the one that makes you want to pull your hair out, and start experimenting. Build your own solution. Until next time, we hope your 10 p.m. inbox is finally empty.